I'll start the
We'll let
recording,
you.
so you should get
Okay.
a little like notification.
Yep, it says we're going. I'll let you take the lead.
So we have these little journals available for teens. They went out in the book boxes for this month, and they'll go out again next month because we're going to have another uh, teen wellness journaling type thing where we discuss how to make a zine and some of the stuff with zines next time. But we'll also like talk about what we're putting in our journal as well. Um,
Sounds
what are some of the benefits to having an art journal?
well. I think some of the benefits to having an art journal is that you kind of get the double impact of being able to use your words and your visuals to express yourself. So words are really good, obviously, from just writing in a journal or doing bullet journaling or something like that. But when you add the visual, it kind of gives you more of an idea of what's going on with you. It kind of helps self-soothe your brain. So then you're kind of having that impact too of being able to relax at the same time that you're expressing yourself. And it kind of gives you some different options for how you want to express yourself. If you're more somebody that likes to do more writing than drawing or vice versa, then it kind of gives you a little bit more of a variety of how you can do that instead of feeling like you're just stuck with one or the other.
I guess I should have had you introduce yourself too, huh?
Oh, yeah. Hi, everybody. My name's Joy Malaro. I'm a local therapist and I work mostly with kids and teens. And I do a lot of art in my practice, people as well.
So how often do you recommend that people journal for this, for insight or therapy or, just to work something out?
Well, I think it really just depends on a personal preference because a thing I hear a lot with people is that journaling sometimes can feel like pressure. Like sometimes you get this idea that it's something you have to do every day for it to have any sort of impact, which really isn't accurate. Some people love doing it every single day and that works for them. Some people, they do it really more as they need to. So if something comes up or if they have something that they really want to record, whether it's a positive experience or a negative experience, then they can just do it as needed in that case. And maybe that's the system that works for them. It's kind of a personal thing.
That makes sense. I used to try to journal every day and it just made me feel really anxious.
Yeah, and so it's really counterintuitive if your coping skill becomes something that feels like a have to, right? We don't want it to be that. So if it feels good to write and do your art journaling every single day, then by all means do it. And if it feels like easier and less pressure to just do it when you need to, then that's just the system that's going to work for you.
What if I'm not an artist and I feel really uncomfortable doing something where I have to draw or paint or something?
Well, first of all, the best thing about art journals is that they're just like any other type of journal where it's 100% for you and you don't have to share it with anybody if you don't want to. So it's very different than making a piece of artwork that you might hang on a wall or give to somebody as a gift, right? And so with art journaling, you don't have to be an artist. You don't have to know what you're doing in order to use art journaling as a coping tool. Really, the most important thing to remember is that it's just a way to let your feelings out. And so sometimes if you are feeling like you aren't quite sure how to begin, then my favorite way to do it is to just like pick one or two of my favorite colors and just do something really abstract. So drawing like shapes or lines or gestures, where you're doing it really fast or really slow, or maybe patterns like you're making polka dots, something like that where it doesn't have to necessarily look like anything in particular, because again, it's about expressing yourself and releasing your emotions, and more so that than about making something beautiful. In fact, my favorite art journals that I have ever gotten to witness and share with people are always the ones that are really messy and what some might even call like ugly, right? Because they're not just a picture of a flower or an ocean, but it's something that you can tell that somebody really put their heart into.
I talked to Donna a couple of weeks ago about collage. Is that something else that works really well in this kind of a journal?
Absolutely. And that's actually another really good way to start when you're feeling like you're not an artist, is that you can actually cut out pictures from magazines or things like that that you feel like represent how you're feeling, or sometimes it's even pictures that make you feel a certain way that you want to feel. So if you're having a bad day, you can cut out pictures that make you happy or make you feel calm, right? And you can either do that just all by itself, where it's, you know, your words, whatever you want to write, and then just pictures, or you can do pictures with other types of art, like gluing magazine.
The things have been like really overwhelming for almost a year now. Do you think that journaling can kind of help with that sense of overwhelming? Does it give you any sort of sense of like control or being able to like process all of the stuff that's been happening?
I think so, because art journaling kind of does two things. One, it's a way to release the feelings, because what happens when we don't express ourselves somehow is that our feelings build up. It's like filling a bucket, right? And then at some point, when there's too much in there, the bucket's going to spill out and just overflow, right? And this is kind of what happens when we feel like we're having a meltdown of some sort. Right? That's when we've kind of reached our limit. And so when we do stuff that helps us release those feelings more regularly, it's kind of like, it's maintenance, right? It's emptying that bucket out more often so that we have more ability to take on the new stress that's coming in, right? So maybe that's stress with online school or stress with not being able to see your friends, right? And it's not necessarily going to solve those problems, but it's going to release some of the pent up emotions that you're having about those things. And then also what it does sometimes is it gives you the ability to look at the problems and problem solve. You know, so I don't know if you've ever had this experience where you're writing in a journal and then you kind of naturally come to some awareness about something or a different way of looking at it. So art journaling, both with the writing part and the visual part, kind of helps with that, where you can like feel the feelings, but then also you.
So is there anything else that you think that teens should know to kind of start their own art journal? Like what would be really good to like get them on their way?
I think the most important thing to remember about art journaling is like, and just write what's on my mind for like 2 or 3 minutes. Or if you're having a hard time starting that way, then even cutting words out of magazines or something like that can help you kind of find a starting point. But really, you know, it's more about a practice. It's more about deciding that it's something that you want to teach yourself how to do, and then just really getting in there and getting your hands dirty, right? And figuring it out as you go. 'Cause really what's going to happen is you're going to find the kind of art supplies that you really like and that make you feel better. You know, maybe somebody really loves collage, but you hate it and you would much rather paint, you know, or you would much rather draw with markers, you know, and the same goes with how you do the writing part. Maybe somebody's going to do free writing, but you really prefer to write lists or to make poems from the words that you find in your magazines. And there's not really any right way. It's more about like having the courage to open up that blank page and just start somewhere, you know, and remembering that it's not for anyone but you. So it can be as ugly or as beautiful as it needs to be.
I love that. Is there anything else that you would like to tell teens that want to start off or that are just feeling like they need to do something? Anything?
That's a good question. I think that remembering to do things that help yourself regularly, and this is just one of a whole bunch of different things you can help yourself, but remembering to do those things regularly is really going to help kind of handle just all of the stress that you're encountering from day to day. And it's kind of about maintenance and taking care of yourself ongoing instead of waiting until you're feeling really overwhelmed to try and know where to begin. You know, you can make an art journal even when you're having a really great day. And sometimes it's a good way to practice because it feels a little less intimidating than waiting until you're in crisis mode to try and figure out how to do something new.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Art journal is one of my favorite things in the world, so I definitely think everybody should get into it. Just get messy.
And like I
Have an
said, I'll be putting more of these in the book boxes for next month so that if you didn't get one this month, you will get a chance to still get one with some art supplies. And you get a free copy of hashtag Not Your Princess as well.
awesome.
So, all right. Well, we will see you next month when we chat some more about some fun art therapy type stuff.
Sounds good.
All right.